Hi, Dr. Stip, Dr. Brady. This is Nirva here with Peyton. We're gonna record the book talk for our book two that was Not Quite, Not White. The author of the book is Sharmila Sen. She was born in Calcutta, India. She grew up there until she was 12. Then young Sen moved to the United States with her family. She never used she never used to be identified with race herself, but everything changed when in 1982 she migrated to Cambridge with her family. So this is a memoir written by her. So basically it's a biography of her own self. This memoir is a heartfelt account of what it means to be like an immigrant and an outsider in other countries. With her wit and sad moments, it calls for the breakdown of the ideas of white being equivalent to Americanness. Not Quite, Not White talks about a non white immigrant attempting to be smiling, eager to please people. Basically, this book is a heartfelt account of how newcomers carve a space for themselves in the melting pot of America. I kind of connect with this because I did go through this kind of situation when I came in first. I was a newcomer, like a completely different culture, a completely different country. So I was like a newcomer, like San, and I had to carve a space for me, like I was good. I had the tennis team to start with, but still, I had to find my way out because, like, I go to classes, meet different people, find my way out there. Yeah, it was a rough journey like her, but then finally I could make myself and be around some good people. So I'm glad. But yeah, I could connect to this book a lot.
Yeah, just going based off of what Nerva had said, I think this book's kind of purpose was kind of telling her story on how there was like this big culture shock for her, and then also to like discovering what race is in America. She talks a lot about like the simulations and the Americanization that she went through and discovered, and kind of what it means to have race in America. She also kind of explains her journey on becoming like an American that gives, and how it can give this racial identity to people in America, and like how they look at other people as well.
Yeah, so like going forward, just like through this book, Sen, like in a stylish, sharp, witty, and an honest, analytical way, and from an engagingly personal perspective, she talks about the unstoppable American problem of race. Sen also considers the price paid by the non-white immigrants, like who try to become white, while always wearing a fake smile on their faces. So I kind of agree with that because if I'm trying to be an American, I'm just having a fake smile on my face because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know the culture here, anything. But yeah, I'm just trying to put myself in there and do something which I have never done. So I'm just enjoying with people here with a fake smile. But like when I be myself around different people, and like when they're ready to accept me, the smile that I have on my face is going to be the real smile I wear. But like when people around me are all Americans, and I feel ashamed of myself not being them, like American, and I put myself out there trying to be an American. I don't know, that I think that doesn't look good. Like it obviously looks fake, and then I bring off a fake smile off my face, but that's just not what she wanted to be. But she tried being an American at the start. Like she felt it was fake, and then she just kind of kept on going with there. But also like her proactive solution is for people like us to insubordinately embrace not being white, like just be yourself. So later on she realizes that she needs to be what she is, and then like when she tries to be who she is, she feels like she's more of a human, and she kind of thinks like she's more happy. So
Yeah.
I think her perspective or whatever she intends to tell us was pretty clear. Like she tried being white, but that did not work for her because she thought she was losing herself in there.
Mhm.
And then she tries to be what she is and just wants to be herself and be happy of what she is. So I think that's kind of me. I never tried to be white like people around me. I just want I'm just what I am, and that's why I think I could make it till now, because otherwise I think I would have gone back home. Like I couldn't
Right.
have made myself just work here
Right.
with the people around.
Yeah. I think Nerva brings a great perspective, especially for this book, since she went through this. And I know kind of what Sen's intentions for the book was to tell, like, obviously to tell her story and how she came about race in America and how it was so hard for her to not be herself. And then she figures out, I just need to be myself. Like, that's how I am going to survive. And I think she kind of also wrote the book to tell people who are in her shoes, are going to be in her shoes, like, it's gonna be okay. Like, it's gonna take time to figure out. It's gonna take a lot of work to kind of realize that you can still be yourself even in a new country. You don't have to pretend to be white. You can, or try to become, like, you can become American, and there's, like, different, like, ways you can do that. And I think she does a good job of explaining that and, like, providing that, like, comfort almost for people who are going through that.
Yeah. I would say she kind of sets a good example if, like, the people who are coming in read this, because I have seen many of my friends, like, just changing into Americans, which, like, is totally unacceptable for me as a human, because you can forget your own culture, your own values, and just grab in the new ones. Like,
Yeah.
okay, obviously if you plan to stay here, you need to have the values that you need here, and you need to be like the people here, but still you can't forget your own soil, your own sand, where you grew up, your own values.
Yeah. Right.
And I kind of like something she brings up in the chapter 1 is, like, the way she talks in the chapter 1 about the theory about the middle class attitude in Indian society.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not based on the superiority, but is like a deep seated fear of sliding, like, downwards into the slums. And is and it's, like, really interesting, because moreover I can connect to this kind of thing because I have heard similar stories from my parents, because they were born back in 1973, and this story talks about 1982. So, like, they were somewhere around 9 or 10 years old. And they said, like, at that time they're considered as a middle class family, because at that time the economy was so low, and then there were not many job opportunities. So their parents, they used to work, but then they used to live in an area, like, if you walk out the house and down the street, there would be a slum around, and you know how the area looks like. So kind of I could connect with the way she was talking about her growing up in an area where there's no racism, casteism, like, everyone lives with love together, and then you live with a perspective in mind that you're a middle class family.
Okay.
You don't try to show off yourself, like, people here, even if it's a middle class family, they live as if they're a rich family, but then at the end, inside their mind, they know, like, we are broke.
Yeah.
But they show, like, they have everything, but in there they know, like, they're broke, they need to pay the loans, and they have that. So I kind of love the way she portrays the slums and her life in India, because, like, when I grew up, it was, like, way after her. Like, I was born in 2001, so it was a completely new situation, like, economic rates going high, my parents being well earning. So I never faced those kind of situation. Like, the area I live is a suburb and city connection, so I never faced those problems. But, like, when I hear back to my parents, like, at that time they used to live in 1 or 2 pair of clothes, and now even, like, I'm like, I have 10 pairs, but I'm like, can I have more?
Yeah.
And that's the
Right.
kind of situation like right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, just the way she explains the first chapter, it's really nice.
Yeah. Good. I think, yeah. I mean, I would have picked, I think, the first chapter too, because I think it really helps you get like a lot of background information on where she came from and
Yeah.
and how it's so different from America. And so I think that passage does a great job of setting kind of the tone for then how the rest of the book is. And for me, like I don't understand it, but to have you understand and be able to explain it to me and to our class, I think is it's good because then you have something to connect to, like you
Yeah.
understand what she's going through, what she went through, what it's like to be like at home. So I think that brings a great perspective to I think this book and how she writes it and how she tells her story.
Yeah, and like as an author, I say she did a pretty good job in covering like both the sides of the topic. Like she was fair enough in putting her bias of, changing her trying to change herself into
Right.
a white person.
Yeah, I would agree. I
But
would agree.
later on she realizes like things not working her way. Like
Right.
she realizes like the things are not working her way. So she just thinks like, being you is just better than trying to change yourself, because anything white is American. That's
Right.
how that's how she like noted it. Like, you see white is
Here's-
American.
Yeah.
And like she told like she was like her dad. Like her mom and her brother were kind of darker in complexion, and
Yes.
she was more of
Right.
like her dad, like
Yes. I do
fair
remember
in
her- remember that.
complexion. So I think she just thought anything white is American,
American.
and that's how she wanted to change herself.
Right.
But then later on she realizes like being you is better than just trying to turn things around the page and
Yeah.
trying to find a solution. So I think she was pretty good at connecting the dots, and
Right. It took her a little
it
bit.
took her a while in the book
Yeah.
to show, but I guess she was pretty fair and thorough about what she's talking. Like she put both the biases and explained them well. That's
Yeah,
what I
agree.
thought.
I would agree.
So
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
like
too.
it kind of went it kind of went hand in hand on both the sides. Like about the white thing, her trying to be white, but then talking about the fake smile.
Yeah, and
And
faking everything
yes.
just to fit in.
Just to fit in, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, she tried to be herself, and she had the real smile, and then she just kind of find her way to fit in the society.
Right.
I would say I did that same thing. I did not change myself with the people here. I just made people around me to be comfortable with what I am, like because I definitely know people. If I take someone from here with me to home, like back India,
Yeah.
no one's gonna change.
Right.
Like it would take you a year or so to change. No one is going to change like in a
An
quick
instant,
in,
yeah.
in an instant second. So that's how it is. Like if I stay here more over the year, I might get those values that are here, but then deep in I'm rooted back home. Like my soil is still
Right.
India, so I have that
Yeah.
values.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. Like you can change a bit, but you can completely change
Right.
yourself into a white American.
Right. I think the only thing that I might want to add is that, like, kind of after I read the book, I was like, I don't really, like, understand, like, the title. Like, it's not quite not white. Like, I don't understand, like, what she's going through, like, what she means and all that stuff. So I did some research a little bit, and I found that she titled this because whiteness, she states, is something that's a norm in America. Like, there's no label for being white. There's
Yeah.
nothing. And having something that's normal that doesn't have a name, you have this kind of invisible cloak, is what she called it, and how it's just a way that people describe themselves. And so for her, instead of giving her the title of like, oh, I'm a colored person or I'm Indian or whatever like her culture was, she decided to call herself or like give her the title of not quite not white. And then to me, after I found that out, I was like, wow, it really just brings the whole book together, and like how she went through everything with like trying to fit in, that fake smile, that fake personality, trying that fake like whiteness, and then she realizes, no, like that's not who I am, like I can still be an American, and figuring out like, I think discovering that race part really helps too.
I would honestly say it was like a smart topic choice. Like not quite not white, because no one would know the reason behind it. But she brings off in a smart way.
It brings like a interest to like, oh, I wonder what she means by that
for sure.
And then like, because I mean, when we were looking for the book, I think that's why we picked
just like,
because it was like, we're like, well, what does she mean by this? So
just for just for the conclusion of the part, I would love to read more on this kind of topic where someone's trying to portray their story and how and what they experienced while they were in,
even what their opinions of race are in America, like how do we look at it, or how do we portray it so that others feel like, and I think that's a huge topic right now, I think, with like all the different cultures like having like going through hardships right now in America. So I would love to see other people's perspectives on what they think race in America is, because she gives a great example.
And also like it's a story about trying to hold on to your identity as opposed to accepting the one that is thrust upon you, and like you or us or me by the world, you know. It's like I'm in a completely different world right now over here, and if someone is trying to thrust upon me, like, you know, you have to be there, I can't accept that because I'm not able to do that. Like, it takes time to go over time and try to change, but if someone tries to thrust something upon me, I'm not able to do that. So this is kind of the moral of the story, or this is like what she's trying to say, like, you know, just trying to hold on to your identity, and because it's opposed to the accepting the one that is thrust upon you. So I would just say it was a nice book to read overall.
I agree. I mean, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Same here. It was nice to record. Thank you.